This is the Jerry Callahan Show.
He's not going to make it, folks. He is not going to make it. There is 106 days, I believe, till the election. More importantly, there's 6 months left in the term of Joseph Robinette Biden, our 46th president. And judging by his voice, at least I think it's his voice, could be AI, judging by the fact that he's hiding out and the fact that his family, his brother, has said they're trying to enjoy him for what little time he has left. It is questionable. It is dubious. It is suspicious, to say the least. Joe Biden stepped down on Sunday at 1:46 p.m., said he would not be running, would not be involved in this campaign any longer. He endorsed Kamala Harris, which is pretty interesting considering there are credible reports that the only way they got him to quit the race was threatening to use the 25th Amendment, which would be triggered by his vice president, who is now claiming out in public that she loves Joe Biden and Joe Biden loves her. They're like family, said Kamala. And I think I speak for most Americans when I say, I can't do it. I can't do 4 years of Kamala Harris. It's just not possible. It is just, that is torture. That is not fair. That is not right. The American people shouldn't have to listen to her, watch her dance, listen to just the inanities that come out of her mouth for 4 years. There are plenty of people who have run for president who are not presidential material. Plenty of fringe candidates. This is the worst candidate in my lifetime, the worst candidate I've ever seen. She does not belong anywhere near the Oval Office. She should have never been vice president. She was chosen strictly because she's a woman of color. That's it. They ignored the fact that she's dumb as a rock, that she's laughs at inopportune times, that she's a complete radical, by the way. Politically, we'll get into that. But I'm pretty sure enough Americans are going to say, I can't do it. I can't listen to her. I can't look at her for 4 years. And the idea that she's going to win votes, win states, win delegates because she's a woman, I'm sorry, we're past that. This is not a good woman candidate. This is not a qualified woman candidate. It's an awful, dreadful, horrendous candidate. As I said yesterday, it's an amazing thing they did. They forced Joe Biden out and replaced him with someone who's worse in almost every way. She doesn't have dementia, and that's the best thing you could say about her. Vote Kamala. She doesn't have dementia. So here she was yesterday in essentially her first appearance as the nominee, as the presumptive nominee. And make no mistake, she is the nominee. Barack Obama has other ideas. I'm sure there's plenty of the Democrat elites, power brokers, kingmakers behind the scenes, plotting and scheming and trying to find a way to stop her. They can't. She's already has enough delegates to secure the nomination. She's the only one who can use all the money the Biden campaign raised in the campaign against Trump. She's it, Democrats. This is your nominee. And I'm sorry, you have no choice. She's in it for the next 4 months. She will make a speech at the convention. She will debate Trump, and she will cackle all the way through it. It is going to be really, really annoying listening to her. And just as an example, how about yesterday, when she makes an appearance at the White House to kind of rally the troops and gives a shout out to Joe Biden? It could be the most disingenuous lie she's ever told, that she loves Joe Biden. Go ahead, let's listen.
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us. And we do. Everybody here does.
It's mutual.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
Oh, that is just nauseating. She was instrumental in ousting him, in forcing him out. We told you for weeks that he was digging in his heels. He was going nowhere. He's too stubborn. He's a narcissist. He's a power hungry man. And so is his wife and his son and his family. They did not want him stepping aside. She forced his hand. The New York Post reported yesterday that they were going to invoke the 25th Amendment. That begins with her. So she had to be in on it. She was in on the coup to remove our 46th president. I don't blame them. He has dementia. He's unfit for office. We know that. But you can't come out the next day and say, we love Joe. He's like family. That is your candidate. This complete phony, this completely inauthentic, contrived, synthetic woman. There's nothing real about her. There's not a real thought in her head, not a real emotion in her body. It's all made up. It's all contrived. She's the phoniest candidate we've ever seen. She doesn't love Joe Biden. She wanted Joe Biden out, and she got her way. She forced him out. Now, we don't know what they gave Biden to step aside. We speculated yesterday, 50, 100, $200 million. It had to be a lot. But she got her way and immediately hit the ground running, ready to campaign, go out there and campaign. Do we have the rest of Biden's comment during this call? She took a call from Biden from Rehoboth Beach, where he's still isolating from COVID, allegedly. And he doesn't sound good. He does not sound good. He claims he's going to hit the campaign trail for her. Now, I'm not sure she even wants that, but I don't think he's capable of it. He is completely shot, which is fueling the speculation from all corners of the internet. Is he going to survive much longer? He doesn't sound like a guy who's getting over COVID. He sounded bad 2 weeks ago, a month ago at the debate. He sounds much worse now. Listen to this.
I know yesterday's news was surprising and it was hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul into me to help us win this thing, help me get this nomination, help me win the nomination, and then go on to win the presidency. But you're an amazing team, but we've got a great, I think we made the right decision.
Sure you did. You made the right decision for you and your family. I'm sure you were money whipped into this, and it's probably a relief that he doesn't have to go out there and debate Trump again or give a convention speech, but he's not well. It's not COVID. It's something else. It's dementia. It's Parkinson's. It's Lewy body dementia. He's got real issues, and that's the reason his brother told CBS that they want to make him comfortable, essentially. That's what you do with 81-year-old men who are in cognitive decline. So they got their way, they got him out, and now the focus is on Kamala. When she was VP, hell, when she was senator, there wasn't a lot of focus on her. She was just loud, obnoxious. She laughed a lot. That's all we knew. Then she became vice president, and she was completely exposed. Again, this was a DEI hire, and there's a reason DEI programs are falling apart all over the country. It's un-American. It's wrong. It's racist. It's sexist. She was chosen because she doesn't have a penis, and because her father's from Jamaica and her mother's from India. That's why she was chosen. That's not how you select a vice president, and it sure isn't how you select a president. This is going to be a disaster. Already, her poll numbers are tanking. Her approval rating is lower than Joe Biden's, and Joe Biden's is lower than whale excrement. That this is the last person, Barack Obama, or any of the senators, any Democrats in the Senate or the House, the last person they wanted carrying the torch. But she said, I'm going nowhere. You're stuck with me. And they are. So let's take another look at this. Yeah, throw the poll numbers up there. This is amazing. They had the chance to replace Joe Biden because his poll numbers were bad. That was the number one reason, because they were afraid he would lose to Trump. And I'm not sure they thought this through. This is what they got. This is a new national general election poll from Quinnipiac among young voters, 18 to 34. This is amazing. 18 to 34-year-old voters. You think it would be a given that they would support the Democrat, especially a black woman Democrat who likes to dance, against Trump? Trump, 58. Harris, 39. She's trailing Trump nationally among young people by 19 points. And we haven't even seen her on the stump, which will be not helpful to her. You throw in the other candidates: Trump, 47, Harris, 29, Kennedy, 9, Stein, West. She gets, if the third party candidates are on the ballot, she gets 29% of the vote. That is just not what they were hoping for, not what they were planning for. But I think it's going to get worse. Now, the mainstream media is going to go into action. You're going to hear a lot about how she's, really smart and really creative, and she cares about people, and she's a big abortion advocate. I don't know what else they can say. She's an outright radical. She makes Biden look moderate, which he's not. But here's the swing states. He's absolutely smoking her. In Georgia, huge black population, 47-36. In Georgia, Pennsylvania, 47-40. Nevada, 49.5 to 39.5. He's up 10 on her in Nevada. Arizona, 48-42. He's killing her in the swing states. This is why Barack Obama had other plans. He knew, they know, his whole crew, the cabal that took out Biden, the insurrectionists who took out Biden, they knew she was going to do even worse. That is why they did not. That is why Barack Obama hasn't endorsed her yet. The Clintons have, most elected Democrats have, reluctantly, but Obama's holding out because he knows they're looking at a disaster on election day. And here's why I think it's not going to get better, because people will take a longer look at her. And again, the media will lie. They will tell you she's qualified. They will tell you she's really smart, and she did a great job as a senator and attorney general. They won't mention that she slept her way to the top. That when she was 29, she had a sexual relationship with Willie Brown, former mayor of San Francisco. Trump slept with a porn star 20 years ago. That's big news. But Kamala sleeping with Willie Brown when she was 29 and he was 60, that's personal. Let's not go there. And they won't. And they will gaslight the country for the next month leading up to the convention. And they will tell you, oh boy, she's really on the ball. She's going to handle her. She's going to handle Trump in that debate. But what they won't tell you, I don't think, is just what a complete left-wing radical she is. Look at her record. It's amazing. How does this play in the Rust Belt? How does this play down south? I'll tell you how. It doesn't. How does it play in those swing states? It doesn't. She's a huge advocate for the Green New Deal. She wants to destroy the U.S. economy for the Green New Deal and, to tackle the made-up climate crisis. She's against fracking. She wants to ban plastic straws. She's absolutely for open borders. She's on the record saying she's for open borders. She compared ICE to the KKK. ICE. She went as hard as anyone after the Border Patrol agents who were whipping Haitian migrants. Another hoax, just totally made up. She called them KKK guys. She was for no cash bail. She started the Minnesota Bail Fund to bail out the rioters who destroyed Minneapolis after George Floyd overdosed, resisting arrest. She still hasn't denounced that, or she still hasn't taken down the tweet saying, donate here to release the rioters, many of whom have gone on to commit violent crimes, including murder. She got them out of jail, and they went on to kill. That has to come up at some point, does it not? Well, Probably not when she goes on, with Steffi Stephanopoulos or Rachel Maddow. They're not going to bring that up. All they'll talk about is abortion, January 6th, and Trump being a threat to democracy. It will be so rich to listen to a woman who was installed as the candidate after a coup led by Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi. I can't wait for her to talk about Trump being a threat to democracy. And by the way, when abortion comes up, this is a woman who believes in abortion on demand in the 9th month. Are you going to say, is she going to turn around and call Trump and J.D. Vance extremists? I'm sorry, you can't do that. When you are advocating for partial birth abortion, you can't turn around and call your opponent an extremist. That's the extremism. I mean, again, the media will lie for her. They will carry her water. But Trump and J.D. Vance will point that out, that she's the real radical. Everything she's ever done, everything she's ever said, every bill she's ever introduced has been absolute radical socialist out on the fringe. That's your candidate, Democrat Party. And that's not going to work. I'm sorry. She'll win California, I'm sure. She'll win Massachusetts. She'll win New York, probably. She ain't winning Georgia. She's not winning Michigan. I believe she's already down 10 in Michigan. She's not winning Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or Ohio. She's not winning. And this is a good thing for the country because this woman as president would be scary. We would have to listen to this cackling fool every day. And I'm not ready for that. What do we got? What do we got from Kamala today, Ironhead?
This is a montage of some of her policy points here.
Oh, good. Now tell me your moderate Democrats or your never Trump Republicans are going to pull that lever for this crazy woman. Go ahead.
But in your plan, eventually everyone would be taken off a private, the private plan that their company currently has.
Yes, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should. Yes, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. On day one, we're going to repeal that tax bill, but we've got to increase the corporate tax rate. And also looking at estate taxes are going to have to go up. And under my plan, there will also be a carbon fee. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy.
That's a small sample, but anybody who wants to ban plastic straws, is a complete fool. I mean, the idea that you want to get rid of that's going to make a difference in anything in anyone's lives, that you use paper straws, which everybody hates. You run with that, Kamala. But I saw this performance at the White House and this bullshit about how she loves Joe and Joe loves her. And then I read the story in the New York Post. And I'll tell you what, that could be the most disingenuous thing she's ever said. This story is amazing. I'll just read some of it here. This is from yesterday, New York Post. It's a headline: Top Dems threaten to forcibly remove Biden from office unless he dropped out. Set him up to fail at the Trump debate. The Trump debate was the earliest ever. And the reason, according to the New York Post, was they wanted this. They knew he'd fail. They knew he was a cognitive mess, and it worked out perfectly. All right. Operatives at the highest level of the Democrat Party threatened Joe Biden with forcibly removing him from office unless he stepped down, sources told the Post. The well-orchestrated palace coup to stop the faltering president seeking re-election has been in place for weeks, but a stubborn Biden fought it every step of the way, a source close to the Biden family told the Post. The insider also made clear the anger, paranoia, and frustration Biden displayed as the party elite circled around him and piled on the pressure. Part of the elaborate scheme to remove Biden from the race was allowing him to debate Donald Trump on live TV. During the car crash 90-minute debate, Biden appeared confused, slack-jawed, and at one point froze up, with his shocking performance turning the tide against him. Part of the plan. Check this out. As calls for him to bow out mounted, Biden insisted he would continue But party bigwigs threatened to invoke the 25th Amendment. The amendment allows for the vice president and members of the cabinet to declare he is unfit to serve and force him to step down. That is what happened days before this phony lady stood up and said, I love Joe Biden. We love Jill. We love each other. We're family. She threatened to invoke the 25th Amendment if he didn't step aside. And now we're supposed to believe he loves her, she loves him, and he's going to campaign for her. Not sure she even wants that. This story is 100% believable. They knew he would bomb. That's why the debate was held so early, the earliest ever, because they knew he would bomb, and it would give them time to undercut him, to overthrow him. They would give him time for the palace coup, and that's how it all unfolded. Truly amazing. And now all we have to do is wonder, where's Joe Biden? Where is he? He has a choice. Here's Joe Biden's choice right now. He can stay as president for the next 6 months. It's going to be scary. It's going to be dicey to have a president who is unfit for the office. But he doesn't want to quit. He wants to stay in the race. Stay in the office. Well, if he stays in the office, he has to show his face. We need proof of life. If he wants to hide, remain hidden in Delaware, he can quit. And then this woman would be your 47th president, and Trump would be 48th. But Joe Biden, if he can't run for re-election, are we supposed to believe he can run the country? That he can deal with all the issues, all the daily issues of the presidency? The war in Ukraine, the war in Gaza, the border, everything the president has to do. And this ill, feeble, sickly old man is supposed to be good to go for 6 months. Does anyone believe that? No, he either has to step in front of the cameras today, make an Oval Office address. I'm sure it won't go well, but he can't remain hidden and allow us all to wonder just how bad he is. This is the president. There's 6 more months in his term. He has to leave Delaware. He has to travel. He has to go back in the White House. He can't stay where he is, or we're all going to wonder, was what his brother Frank said, that they just want to enjoy him with what little time he has left. What does that tell you? There's a real problem, and I will not be shocked if he's out soon and she is sworn in. It also gives her the advantage of the incumbency. It gives her a lot of advantages, but I don't think it'll be enough. It is a frightening time in America. Our president is incapacitated, and this is the person who steps in for him. But all right, we got any more Kamala? I told you we could do this every day for like hours because she's so bad in every way. But
yeah, this is her just being very stupid.
Oh, good. Let's just listen to Kamala being Kamala.
Remember Venn diagrams, those 3 circles, right? And then let's just see where they overlap. You will not be surprised because I have constructed a Venn diagram on this. Remember those 3 circles, how they overlap? I love Venn diagrams. So I just do. Whenever you're dealing with conflict, pull out a Venn diagram, right? And so, the 3 circles. The television coverage of just yesterday, that's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but just limited to what we have seen. For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been,
6 former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Our Supreme Court is on the line. Our basic freedoms are being tested, Madam VP. I know you've been traveling across the country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. The majority of us believe in freedom and equality.
But these extremists, as they say, they're not like us.
Oh, God. Oh, it can't happen. We can't allow this to happen. I don't care how much you hate Trump. I don't care. This woman cannot be allowed to take office. She shouldn't even be anywhere near the office. And now she is the nominee for one of the two major parties. She's going to get 60, 70 million votes, but hopefully that is not nearly enough. All right, we got so much to get to on this Tuesday, July 23rd. Ooh, Keith Oldman chimed in on our discussion yesterday about the ball players, Major League ball players, doing a little Trump thing when they hit home runs, raising the fist, saying, fight. Keith Oldman's not happy, and he has the solution to that. And, oh, man, the Secret Service Director, Kimberly Cheadles, testified before Congress yesterday. I've seen lots of congressional hearings. I've never seen such bipartisan, vicious attacks on a witness, and it was glorious. Why this woman still has a job is beyond me. And we got if you ever wondered why Elon Musk became radicalized, why he became red-pilled or black-pilled or whatever pill it is, we can tell you. Now we know why. They killed John Wick's dog. That's how they got John Wick so upset. We know what they didn't kill Elon Musk's dog. They did something much worse. We'll tell you about that and more. But first,
Excuse me.
I knew they would go after Kimberly Cheadle, this inept, corrupt, lying director of the Secret Service. I knew it would get a little testy. I had no idea it would be this bad. It was unbelievable. Both parties, Democrats and Republicans, demanding she step down. Hell, she'd be arrested. This is a criminal. And you know what she did? You know what the worst thing she did? She did nothing to deter the conspiracy theories, the people who think it was an inside job, the people who wonder. They don't necessarily believe it was an inside job. They want you to explain how it's not. They want her to answer questions and make sense and explain to her how that it was an oversight, it was a mistake, it was negligence, but it wasn't intentional. She did nothing of the sort. All the people who thought somehow the Secret Service was in on this, the shooting of Trump, she did nothing to disabuse us of that notion. It was uncomfortable. It was embarrassing. And I don't understand why she didn't step down before this hearing, why she didn't step down after the shooting. You can't be Secret Service director and almost get the former president, future president, assassinated on your watch. And all she does is make it worse. Just a quick rundown before we get to some of the highlights. She said the shooter, Thomas Crooks, was not who was, quote, outside the perimeter. Outside the perimeter. He was 130 yards away. She said he was outside the perimeter. She said they have no recordings of any of the communication from the between Secret Service agents or local authorities who were on details and the Secret Service. They have no recordings of any of the communication. How is that possible in this day and age? The thing that really amazing, she has yet to go to Butler, Pennsylvania. A whole bunch of congressmen and women went there, saw the site, saw the roof, toured the place. Not her. Instead, she went to the Republican convention and had a good time, presumably partied, met Trump when she was there, but has not gone to Butler, Pennsylvania. She is passing the buck, blaming everybody but herself, and not taking responsibility, which is insane. You're the head of the Secret Service. Your job is to protect Trump. You didn't do it. You must resign in disgrace. And this also shocked me. The Secret Service has 8,000 employees, a $3.1 billion budget, 8,000 employees, and you couldn't have more than whatever the number is in Butler, Pennsylvania. You were stretched too thin. You had to take people from DHS and local police forces. You couldn't have as many agents as you needed there to protect Trump. I mean, the incompetence or the corruption, the criminal acts, it just defied logic. It is unfathomable that this was allowed to happen. And this woman got the beating she deserved yesterday, and she did not make anything better. She made it all worse. What does AOC have to say?
The individual used an AR-15 in order to act out his assassination attempt. An AR-15 has a range of about 400 to 600 yards. My question is, why does the Secret Service perimeter, why is the Secret Service protective perimeter shorter than one of the most popular semi-automatic weapons in the United States?
There are a number of weapons out there with a number of ranges. Again, an advance was completed. The determination of the perimeter, I'm not going to speak to specifics, but there are a number of factors that are taken into account when we determine our perimeter. Some of it has to do with terrain, some of it has to do with buildings, some of it has to do with assets and resources that are available.
And so what I'm hearing is that a perimeter was not established outdoors in an outdoor venue that would prevent an AR-15, which is one of the most common weapons used in mass shootings, from being able to be within the range of Secret Service protection.
I don't know why you're playing her. The Democrats kept bringing up the AR-15 like that matters. Like it matters what kind of gun he used. Would you feel better if he used a 30-06 AOC?
No, she was pointing out that the range that they set up was nothing for that gun.
It's insane. 130 yards was not within the perimeter. Why not? How do you explain that? That alone, which should force her out of, I mean, the idea that she's digging in her heels after almost get the worst mistake in 60 years by the Secret Service, or at least I'd say since Reagan was shot. And by the way, the Secret Service director after Reagan was shot quit in disgrace. This woman says she's going nowhere. And I guess maybe she thinks, she's got Dr. Jill in her corner. She's going to protect her. But the idea that she thinks she can stay in office, keep her job, is madness. Let's get to Nancy Mace. She got it from everybody, but Nancy Mace was the best. She likes to showboat at these hearings. She likes to prosecute, and man, does she go after Cheadle's hard. They all did, including Democrats. They all went after her hard, and she should have just stood up and said, "I quit. Thank you. I'm out of here," and left the building. But she didn't, and she just sat there and took her beating. Watch this.
Answers. Most of my questions are going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter? Yes or no?
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question. Yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible.
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure? Yes or no?
Yes.
Was this tragedy preventable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Secret Service been transparent with this committee?
Yes.
Would you say the fact that we had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today as being transparent? Yes or no?
I have always been.
Yes or no? You didn't want to answer the question. We had to issue a subpoena to get you to show up today. That is not transparent, by the way. You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political? Yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's bullshit. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record articles by Punchbowl News, Political Playbook, Washington Post, all done at 5:24 a.m., 6:12 a.m., 6:34 a.m., a solid 3 to 4 hours before this committee got your statement.
Without objection, so ordered.
Okay. Is the Secret Service fully cooperating with our committee?
Yes.
Okay. You say you're fully cooperating with this committee. On July 15th, this committee sent you a list of demands of information that we wanted. Has the Secret Service provided this committee a complete list of all law enforcement personnel that were there that day? Have you done that? Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or no?
I will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th? Yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're completely dishonest. Mr. Chairman.
It's so good. I'm sorry. That was appropriate. I know they objected and we don't use that kind of language, but that was appropriate. This is an amazing thing we're seeing unfold. The director of the Secret Service is stonewalling, is not cooperating, required a subpoena to show up and answer questions after she almost got Donald Trump killed. It was just an historic failure, an epic failure. And she will not provide the names of all the agents at the scene. We're not going to find out who was responsible, who should have secured that roof, who should have seen Thomas Crooks before the audience saw him, who, and this is the most important one, who let Trump take the stage after 9 minutes after they saw Crooks and knew he was a threat, and 20 minutes before he shot. They saw him, they knew he was there, and they let Trump take the stage and speak for 9 or 10 minutes. And they knew there was a gunman 130 yards away. I mean, I don't know what the next step is. I would think handcuffs, perp walk. You should be arrested for this, not grilled by grandstanding Congress people. You should be arrested. You should be in front of a judge. They almost got Trump killed, and nobody can believe how easily Crooks made it on top of that roof. And maybe a quarter of an inch to the right, we have the biggest scandal in American history. Our whole country changes. Everything changes. We were so lucky. I mean, obviously, Corey Compatore wasn't lucky. 2 other Trump supporters got shot and injured. But quarter of an inch away, Trump's dead. And what does this woman say then? Does she resign then? Her job was spared because Trump turned his head at the last second? This is insanity. How there's not a reckoning right now, how she's not being handcuffed and taken away along with anyone else in the line of the chain of command who was responsible for leaving that roof unsecure. I mean, I don't know what the next step is. That she's going to lawyer up? She should lawyer up. And how was Biden not? I know Biden's out of it, but how wasn't someone around him telling him, Joe, you got to fire her. You got to fire her. I mean, she almost got Trump killed. I know that probably wouldn't have bothered Biden a whole lot, but she can't stay in the job. She can't continue as director of the Secret Service. Trump's going to do a rally this week, I'm sure. Are we supposed to think it's secure? That Secret Service is going to get it right this time? Just the craziest damn thing. And as Portnoy tweeted, if you watch this, you can't help but think it was an inside job. Even if don't tend to buy into conspiracy theories, you watch her, you see what happened, you see the roof. By the way, you could see the roof from inside the building where all the cops were located. They were stationed. You can look out the window and see the roof. And none of them saw Crooks and stopped them. It's just the most insane freaking story we've ever had. And I don't know what the next step is, but this woman has to go. All right, we got to get to Elon Musk. We got the answer. Why has Elon Musk become the activist, the advocate, the biggest champion of free speech in this country's history, or at least since the founding fathers? We'll explain that to you. And we'll get to crazy Keith Oldman and what he wants to do with Major League ball players who raise their fist and say, fight, fight, fight.
Excuse me.
It's been 2 years since Elon Musk bought Twitter, more than 2 years, and the world was going to come to an end. Twitter was going to die. Now Twitter's the most important. X is the most important news source in the world. It's where the president goes to resign, to step down from the campaign. It's where all news is broken from all the media outlets, many of whom hated Elon Musk because he opened it up to free speech. He stopped the censorship for the most part. He watched what happened during COVID. He had the money. He had the will. He bought the platform and he said, there'll be no more of that. Doctors can question vaccines. People can question masks. They can insult Dr. Fauci. They can make fun of Rachel Levine. He has changed Twitter and made it better and made it much more important. And you often wondered, I always thought it was because Twitter banned the Babylon Bee and they were friends of his and he really liked the Babylon Bee. Don't we all? It's the funniest thing on Twitter. They made fun of Rachel Levine and they got banned by Jack Dorsey's regime, who were working with the federal government, working with the Biden campaign to censor critics. We've gone through this. We remember the Twitter files. Well, we learned yesterday, Elon Musk sat down with Jordan Peterson and explained why he has declared war on the woke, or as he calls it, the woke mind virus, why he has done everything in his considerable power to stop, to expose the woke mind virus. And it's personal. It's about his family, his son, to be specific. This was incredible. Watch this. Listen to what Elon Musk revealed to Jordan Peterson. Go ahead.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This is before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on, and so there was a lot of confusion. I was told, Xavier might commit suicide if he.
That was a lie right from the outset.
Incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison.
That's
so I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
He vowed to destroy the woke mind virus, and he's done his best. He's done as much or more than anybody. That was the point, the John Wick dead dog point. They told him that his son, Xavier, would kill himself if they didn't give him these drugs to sterilize him. He's now known as Vivian. Vivian Jenna Wilson is his son, now pretending to be a girl. And they fooled one of the smartest men in the world, the richest man in the world, was fooled by these criminal doctors telling him, if you don't shoot your son up with these drugs and sterilize him, he'll kill himself. They convinced Elon Musk. How does an average guy have a chance against these forces of evil when Musk can't even stand up to them, or couldn't? He will now, but he couldn't then, and he agreed to let them shoot up his son and sterilize him and pretend to be a girl. These doctors, as we know, we've gone over many times, they're evil. They're evil people. They are lying. Just try to think of it logically. A boy who's, I don't know, maybe he's gay, maybe he's just effeminate, and they go to a doctor, and the doctor says, oh, we have to stop him from going through puberty. Oh, will that sterilize him? Oh, no. Yes, it will. And you think someone who might have suicidal thoughts is going to get better if you sterilize him and he can no longer have reproduce, he can't have a baby, he can't have an orgasm? That's going to make him feel better? Just because he'll put on a dress and pretend to be a girl, everything will be all better? It's so illogical. It's insane. And they tried, and they did it to Elon bleeping Musk and his son, who he said is dead to him. He's dead to him because he's he thinks he's a girl and he's been infected with the woke mind virus. That was an amazing revelation. And I had never heard this. I know he has a lot of kids. I'm sure he has a lot of issues with his kids, but I did not know that. That is the motivation for the man who has made such a difference in the culture wars for the last 2-3 years. Truly amazing. But we're going to do Keith. Before we go, we told you yesterday about a trend in Major League Baseball. Guys hitting home runs or doubles or triples and then getting up and giving the Trump fist. And the St. Louis Cardinals, who was Alex Ferguson, hit a home run. And the guys in the dugout put their one hand on their ear and the other hand fist in the air, just for fun, victory, not victory, fight. They put their fists in the air and said, fight. And it was no big deal. It was just guys trying to have fun. Well, not to Keith Oltman. Keith Oltman doesn't stand for stuff like that. Here's Keith Oltman's solution. Let me get it. You got it up there. Here's what he wants to do to people, to ball players who raise a fist and say, fight. He says, attention, MLB, ban these guys from baseball for life, confiscate the Cardinals franchise, and implode the stadium. Cardinals equal Trump Nazis. Stick to sports. He actually says stick to sports. F the St. Louis Cardinals. America has had enough of this shit. I will give him credit. The last line is important. America has had enough of this shit is right. They've had enough of the woke stuff from the Major League Baseball and other professional leagues. They've had enough of the Gay Pride Month and the Gay Pride flags and the Black Lives Matter and all that. These guys are just being themselves. They thought it was cool when Trump raised a fist and said, fight. So did many, many millions of Americans. And they thought, hey, cool, I'll do it. Fight. And Keith Oltman wants to kick him out of baseball and blow up the stadium. Good to see Keith is not totally unhinged anymore. He's really making sense these days. But he's good luck to Keith because it's the pendulum is swinging between Elon Musk and Trump and Vance, and just the way the Democrat Party is imploding, collapsing, unraveling. It's going to get worse before it gets better, Keith, and we're going to enjoy it, and you're not, which is great. But we will leave it there for today. Did I miss anything, Ironhead? Anything going on? Look at all these comments.
Yeah, comments.
Everyone's talking. Everyone wants to know when Biden's going to pardon Hunter. It's coming. It doesn't matter when. He's a lame duck. He could do it today. He could do it in September when Hunter goes to court to face the tax charges. He could do it in December or January. He's going to do it, and he won't care because he's not running for re-election. So he can do it anytime, but it'll come one of these days. I have no doubt. It's part of the deal. $100 million, $200 million, a pardon for Hunter, some money for Frank, some money for Jim and the whole Dr. Jill. We'll see after Biden actually leaves office. Could be today, could be January. We'll see. He'll be richer and living in luxury like we've never seen before. There's no way he didn't get a big, big payoff, but we'll find out. Hopefully we'll find out. The media will do their best to ignore it, but hopefully someone will do some digging and we'll learn what the quid pro Joe actually was. But that's coming. It's such a wild time. We haven't got to the convention. We haven't got to the debate. We don't know who the vice president is for Kamala Harris yet. Some sacrificial lamb's going to be thrown in to be devoured by J.D. Vance. Can't wait. We'll be here for all of it. But that'll do it for today. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Ironhead. I'm Jerry Callahan.